everybody, it's Wednesday and welcome back to Creative Chat Cafe, the talk show hangout that offers guidance, inspiration, and results for your marketing, business development, and leadership needs. Every Wednesday on entrepreneurs.soar.com, and I'm going to share with you, our hashtag right here. You can also search us anywhere on Google+, Facebook, or Twitter, hashtag Creative Chat Cafe, and you can, follow up with all our previous, shows that we've done in the past. So today I have two of my co-hosts with me, Super Julie Braun of superinterns.com. Welcome, Julie, and also Steve Gordon. And Steve, would you take maybe 15 seconds to give a quick intro about who you are? Because Julie and I have been on the shows a lot, and people are getting bored with, I think, who we are. So probably we'll have a new, fresh face.
Well, Zev, I don't think anybody could get bored with either you or Julie, but thank you for inviting me today. I'm in a little impromptu studio, so it's fun to be able to join you. I am the CEO and founder of the Gordon Partnership Group. We are a business consulting firm. We work with small and medium-sized businesses around the world. We work with CEOs in terms of a CEO boot camp, sales managers to grow sales and revenue. We also act as an interim CMO or CTO, and I guess we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but we really enjoy working with our clients. We get in there and we help them grow their business, and we always tell them their success is our business.
Yay! Thank you so much. Thank you. So everybody, you've seen me and Julie on this show. You probably have an idea, weekly we talk about marketing stuff, we talk about business development, and we talk about leadership. Any points that we can help you build your business. Today, we're talking about, do you have what it takes to start your own business? And you and I know, and even Steve and Julie know, we've all been in business for a while now. It is a hard thing to do. It is not for everyone, right, Julie, Steve?
It's not for everyone.
It's a special kind of breed, I must say, because there are some qualities needed to kind of determine whether we become successful in what we do or not. And, it takes a lot of hard work, sleepless night, woohoo. And, basically, I've heard this, sometimes a business is just like raising a child. You kind of need a village to do it, right?
That's for sure. I think that one of the things that we find in our business, Zev, is that we work with companies where there's just one business owner, and they're big enough that they're growing, but not big enough that they might have an executive vice president or a senior VP and a president. And so, it's lonely at the top. And when you don't have, that team around you to bounce ideas off of and to help support you and talk to you on a good day and praise you, and who praises the praiser, right?
Absolutely. Julie, you and I have been in business, and there are days, there's sleepless nights, but we continue working, right?
Yes, and I can't wait until we start talking about grit, because it's my favorite, newest subject that I just love. Owning your own business, it is not for everyone, but it is for a lot of people, and I think we're going to talk a little bit today about what some of those qualities are.
It's kind of scary sometimes thinking about some of those folks out there that we work with, you and I'm sure Steve have experienced this too. People think that they can have a business, they can start a business from the get-go without even having much thought to it. But, I personally think, folks, that before you even start a business, you kind of need to know if you have what it takes to build to start a business. And one of the biggest thing I personally think, in my personal opinion and from my personal experience, is we all need to understand why it is that we want to start a business. And one of the important things to ask yourself is, why is it do I want to start a business? And there are many good reasons and bad reasons that I can think of. Julie, maybe something that you've heard before that you probably think would not be a great reason to start a business. Name one, maybe.
Well, one bad reason would be that you don't have passion for your current job.
Absolutely.
So if you're only going to start a business because you hate the one you have, that's not a good reason. I think in order to start your own business, you have to be passionate about whatever that idea is, and that you're really not kind of saying, well, I don't like my boss or I don't like my job, so I'm going to start my own business. Well, guess what? You're not going to like your new job, and you're not going to like your new boss.
No, absolutely. That's true. Very true. And we often hear it out there. People always complain, oh, I just want to start my own business. And they don't think about it until they get into it and they realize, like, oh my God, it's hard. Steve, what have you heard about, people starting some bad reasons people start their own business?
Well, I think that there's always the people who go, I don't like my 9 to 5, or I don't like my commute.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that when you're in your own business, it doesn't turn off, that it's no longer 9 to 5, it's 9 to 9 to 9. And, I was just working yesterday talking to a potential client, and she gives her personal cell phone out to all of her best clients. And I said to her, that's got to stop, because, she's complaining that nobody will do business with her salespeople because they all want her, but she created her own monster. And so, immediately I said, you can't be doing that. Then she said, well, everywhere I go, people stop me. I get texted during dinner. And I said, well, don't give them your number. So I think that a lot of people don't really think about what it takes to run a business until they're in there. And sometimes that could be too late.
One of my favorites is I often hear people say, I want to work less hours. And I go like, what? That's not a good reason, because, when you have your own business, hello, you have to work extra hard because it's your baby, right, folks? I mean, sometimes people think that having your own business, of course I can work anytime, but they also need to realize without the right discipline, they will be working every moment of their life, waking hour. So that's not a good reason to start a business, that you want to work less hours.
That's a horrible reason. But it's funny, Zeph, because that is the myth. People think that if you own your own business, that very often you're taking days off, you've got nice long vacations. If you decide you want to be sick for the day, you can. And what most people don't realize is exactly the opposite. I know. I woke up this morning at 3:23. I think that was when I looked at the clock, and I looked up at the ceiling, and I started having my conversation with myself of all the things I have to do today. And it never really leaves your mind. But the good side of that is that obviously we're passionate about what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And if you love what you're doing, then it never feels like work.
Absolutely.
It feels like joy and happiness. And I'm excited to get up in the morning because I get to talk to all different sorts of people, and I have amazing, no day is the same. I have all kinds of problems I get to solve. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So that's the good side, I guess.
Well, that's true. I mean, Steve, what about you? You've been in business for a while now, too. I'm sure, you agree with Julie. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that you have to ask yourself a question. And the question is, are you the kind of person that likes to know how much you're going to make at the end of each month? Or are you the person who goes, why would you want to know how much you're going to make at the end of each month? Because if you're not comfortable not knowing, then probably being in your own business is not for you. If you need to know that you have a certain amount of income coming in to make you comfortable, and that gives you that security, for me, I remember thinking to myself, why would anybody want to know what they're going to make at the end of each month? Because then you're boxed in. But that's my comfort zone. I want to know that I can go, the sky's the limit.
And, and Julie, you were right about, having that passion for the business. That's a great reason, I think, to start off with why you want to build a business or start a business. Many people, are passionate about certain things. And an example is, you have a passion and skill sets for something like maybe the food industry, and you've gained enough knowledge and experience in that industry that you want to help other people, or maybe, go into business for yourself. And Another idea would be, if you actually have found an idea, or you have found the answer to a problem and you can actually offer that problem solving skills that you have to other people. These are some great reasons to get started. So Julie, let me ask you this. How did you get started building your business? What inspired you?
Well, this is my second business, and my first business was a marketing consulting business. Mm-hmm. I have passion for it, but not the same kind of passion I have for superinterns.com. Mm. It's a totally different feeling. I think when I realized how unique we are, and when I realized that we were helping people by the very nature of what we do, it became something that was really easy, even in the hard times. And believe me, there's plenty of hard times. There's, I love the way Steve puts it. You don't know how much money you're going to make at the end of the month, and it can go either way. We've had good months, and we've had not so good months. When I first started, it all kind of happened by, I guess, the planets aligned or something. And it's just been an amazing roller coaster ride, for sure. So, but you have to have the right type of personality for it. And what I like to say is I have a very high tolerance for torture. So, I'll tell people, I know, a little bit, but it is kind of funny because you do get a very thick skin. You do become able to drive on the edge of a highway that maybe on one side is cliffs and the other side is sharps. So you get very good at that, but I don't want to dissuade people from starting a business if they have the passion, if they have the drive, if they have the grit, and especially if you're going into work every day and you're saying to yourself, I would be such a better boss, I would be such a better leader than the president of this company, then perhaps you should be.
And what about you, Steve? I know you two have been in business for quite a while now.
I just want to address something that Julie said a minute ago, and that is this. Julie said, if you could be a better boss. I think the other thing that sometimes drives people is when you learn from challenging experiences. So if you've had a boss that you felt wasn't a great boss, wasn't a great motivator, wasn't a great praiser, wasn't a great leader, if you can learn from that experience, and if you can take that knowledge and then become that person that your history was not, that your boss was not, that's great too. It's like the same thing with parenting. If you had a challenging time growing up, maybe you had a difficult relationship with a parent, then maybe you look at yourself and go, okay, I'm not going to repeat that process when I'm the parent, when I'm the boss, etc. And so, I think that's really important, and it's an important part that Julie, you just mentioned. For us, like Julie, this is not my first business. I built a worldwide direct marketing business that spanned on 4 continents, and I did that over a 20-year period, and I still have that business. And I loved doing it, and I still love building that business. But I learned a lot. I learned how to build a sales team. I learned how to motivate. I learned how to train. I learned how to work and develop strong leadership and management skills in other people. And as I started to look at the economy and the impact of the economy on businesses today, particularly small and medium-sized businesses, I recognized that there were a lot of business owners who created a business out of the passion that you talk about, Zeph and Julie, but passion is just one piece. Mm-hmm. Because, I would ask people a lot of times when I meet with them one-on-one, I would say, Julie, let me ask you a question, or Zeph, let me ask you a question. If something were to happen to you today, would your business be sellable? Is there a value to your business beyond you? And what I found is a lot of people created what they call, we at Gordon Partnership Group call a jobby. A jobby is a business that's really a combination of a job and a hobby. And it's because you have created this business where you're the entire persona, And now, if something were to happen, you don't have a viable business. A business should be something that you can at some point sell, and it will continue to grow or move on beyond you. So I saw this great need for leadership and training, and also to support growing businesses. I found that a lot of businesses they get to an axis where if you got just one or two people running that corporation, when you wear too many hats, what happens is you have one axis, which is growth, and you have another axis, which is serving clients. And when you start to serve your clients, you have so many clients that you can't grow anymore because you're serving the clients you have. Then you need to make some decisions. And that's kind of where we come in, and I started to see that in a lot of people I knew who ran businesses, and I started to talk with them and say, what about this, what about that? That combined with the fact that my wife, Lori Gordon, owns a corporation called Alliances with Lori, which is a marketing firm, and so we merged the two firms together under Gordon Partnership, and we come in and we work with the marketing, and we work with the sales training and the CEO training, and so that's how we started our business.
So maybe we all should, give a tip right here to kind of maybe offer our audience some tips or solutions on how, to help them decide whether they should start their own business. So, Julie, why don't you start with your tip?
Sure. So I think things like taking care of yourself is really important to get out of the office, to do some exercise, to improve your mind. For example, this year I started taking chess lessons. I'm learning online. Learning online. Awesome. And I really love that because actually the game of chess not only is teaching me strategic thinking and how to think a few moves ahead, but it's also teaching me resilience, and that I am always playing to the top of my game. Every game that I go into, I'm playing the best I can.
Sure.
And so very often I'm playing very skilled players, much more skilled than I am, and they are making me learn faster and grow more. So these are some things that I think that you need to do when you are starting a business. And it's not just about the business itself, but it's also about you as a person to help flourish and grow, so that when you come into the business, you're grabbing onto all those tools and assets that you have.
Steve, you mentioned earlier about the jobby, moving from a jobby to business. I think that's a great tip. Would you kind of just elaborate that tip a little bit more so our audience can understand you a little bit more about moving from the jobby to the business part?
Absolutely. So, I think that the most important thing is to move from a jobby, as we call it, to a bona fide business. Number one is to create a business where it's not about you. You can be the persona, but Mrs. Fields of Mrs. Fields Cookies isn't out there every day, pounding the pavement. In fact, we probably don't even know who she is, right?
No, I don't.
So the point is that you can be the persona without being the whole business. It's important to develop leadership, and that's done through praise. It's done through reward. It's done through recognition. Allow others to fail, but fall forward. In other words, if somebody, I always tell the story of one of my children who very, very independent, I guess is a nice way of saying it. And even at the age of 2 years old, if I were to tie her shoes, and she would untie them and say, I'll do it myself. Now, at that moment, I could have been running late for an appointment, and I had to make a decision. Do I retie them or let her tie them? And it occurred to me that I could be late for a few meetings and then have a child who could tie her shoes the rest of her life and be on time for the rest of my life, or do it for her over and over and over again. And so, that's what I mean by to fail and fail forward. The other thing, Julie, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that you need, as a business owner, to shut it off sometimes. one of the things, as you know, my business is run with in a partnership with my wife. So we are together, and it's very easy to take that business right into the evening.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're working intellectually with somebody that you care about, that's great, and that's but we do have what we call electronic free time. You know, like we'll just put the phones down. We won't bring them to dinner. You know, there's nothing so important that it can't wait for a few minutes. And you know, sometimes we have 2 little dogs, and we like to take them out for walks by the beach, and we will leave the phones, and that's our time. You know, so I agree with you. I think you have to exercise every day. You have to, whether it's yoga or walking or running, because remember, if you're sick, you're no good to yourself, your business, your corporation, or anybody else. You need to exercise your mind. Julie just touched on that before. Whether it's reading every day, you know, I love my iPad because I can take my books with me everywhere, and I can read a few pages here and read a few pages there. You know, I listen to audios. I listen to podcasts. Podcasts are great because you can find some people you never would have heard about in the past, and just go into iTunes library and search by a keyword, and you find somebody great, and then all of a sudden you can listen to them while you're on your treadmill or you're walking. I just read a great book, Game Changer, Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco. If you haven't read it, you know, it'll change. If you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, this will make you think. You know, I often listen in my Sirius radio in my car. I listen to a new station called Business Radio 24/7. It's business talk from the Wharton School of Business, right? I mean, so you can enrich your mind, and at the same time, you know, exercise your mind, I guess is a better way of saying it. Exercise your body, and then of course, you know, you got to shut it down at some point and just enjoy life. Smell the roses.
That's a great tip, and I think one of the most important things that our audience can do if you're trying to decide if you have what it takes to start a business and you want to start a business, I think one of the biggest things that people often overlook because just thinking that they can do it, you know, I'm not saying that just because you have the skill sets, the knowledge, and the experience, you can just jump in. But I think one of the biggest things people often overlook is the fact that they need to research the idea that they want to build their business on. And there's so many ways to do the research these days online. I think, you know, we have such abundance of information online. It could be overwhelming too. So one of the things that I think that is important is also to actually get other resources from people or business experts that have actually probably, you know, are teaching it, or probably people who have experienced the business, because if you don't do this, you don't get real life experiences, you know, and takes about the business or the idea. And one of the biggest thing researching online, I think, I love these days, if, you know, you're starting a business, you can go to LinkedIn, where you can actually, you know, LinkedIn and Facebook, that they have so many kinds of groups, right, talking about 20 different kinds of things at any one time. All the business topics are there, and all the expertise are there. Research those groups, and you will actually get reliable information. There's so many people, experts out there, coaches, that are willing to give you basic information to get you started. And so please research. Other than that, you know, you have, of course, the library, the business associations, the publications. Maybe not many people, especially the next generation, love publications, but I think the most important thing is getting with the people who have done the business, or people who are teaching you to build the business. And this is like the most important thing. And I think, Julie, one of the things I remember in the past you mentioned is, you know, one of the biggest thing in getting started is getting a mentor. Am I right?
Getting a mentor, exactly. And it's a mentor can be a friend. A mentor can be someone who has already done the business. They can be your 84-year-old friend. I actually have 8 mentors. I have 8 mentors that are very memorable to me. And one of them helped me make $1.5 million.
Wow, there you go.
So when you think about a mentor, and of course I got to spread that over 25 years, but still, that's a lot of money. And if it were not for that mentor to show me that first year what I needed to do differently in my life in order to make more money, if I had not learned that, well, I'd owe more money than I already do.
That's true.
But mentors are very important to have. And I think what is probably most notable is we probably already have mentors in our lives, but we haven't really identified them as a mentor. You know, Zeph, I know in your business what you do, you mentor lots of people. Steve, I'm sure you do the same.
True.
You know, we're all helping people along, and there's other people who help us, and it carries on. But that, to me, if you're ready to start a business, get yourself 1, 2, 3 mentors that you can go to, and you can cut out some of the noise and say, what really is your best advice on this topic? Or what do you think I should do here? Or do you like this idea? And mentors will love you because they actually have bragging rights if you do well.
My mentor in business for a very long time was somebody who was like my adopted grandmother. She's 94 years old right now. And you know what? With age is wisdom. And this woman, when I get off the phone with her, my head spins, and all I can think of is what was she like when she was 40? Because she's so brilliant at 94. And it's like, you know, but with things like YouTube, you can find a mentor, and you can find a mentor who maybe was alive 20 years ago, or somebody who lives the completely opposite side of the world. You can be in New York and they can be in Melbourne, Australia. It doesn't matter. If that person is somebody you can relate to, then that can be a mentor, and you may never speak to that person personally. I have mentors, people I've been to seminars and read their books, and I buy their tapes, and I listen to them on YouTube. And they don't even know they're mentoring me, but they are a very, very important part of my life.
There you go. So
that is awesome, Steve.
That is awesome. Yeah,
I love it.
So one more thing I have right here for our audience out there. If you ever are thinking about starting a business, or if you want to find out, you know, what are the type of businesses out there that probably, you know, could that doesn't need a lot of money to start off, you know, and if you're really looking for resources, there's so many resources, but I actually found one that I really like the article. I'm going to show you my screen real quick, and we will actually have this in our blog below, and you can actually see this is the article. It says right here, 55 businesses you can start for less than 5,000. And if you go through the list, you know, they are very, very, you know, doable, and eBay assistant. I mean, just ways to start a business, and if you're passionate about it, why not? And one more is Kickstarter.com. I know, Julie, you actually introduced me to Kickstarter, and one of the reasons why I brought up Kickstarter is people often you know, when we do marketing, people often ask me, how do I market my product, or how do I get ideas of what's trending and what's, you know, what is in demand out there. And I think when you introduced me to Kickstarter, it also opened my mind about, wow, these ideas are really awesome. What do you think about Kickstarter as an idea resource for business, Julie?
I think it's a good idea. I think in order to be successful at it, though, people have to do all the things that we've talked about. Because if you try to do a Kickstarter by yourself, you will not be successful. It is a full-time job. You need a team of people to help you really make it successful. You need a mentor. You need somebody who's probably done it before. I think the most latest statistics show something like only 23% of all Kickstarters are successful. I hope I got that number right, but it's a low amount, and everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to do a Kickstarter and get $10,000, and that doesn't usually happen. To utilize it, though, for exposure, I think is also a very good idea, but again, you need people to help you in order to make it successful.
I think what I was talking about Kickstarter is more for idea farming, because, you know, sometimes people go like, oh, I like the food industry. I have this idea. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I don't know which direction do I want to take it. Do I want to take it into nice packaging, blah, blah, blah. And I just think Kickstarter just offers some of the great trending ideas just for idea farming, you know, just like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have thought of that, you know, that kind of thing.
Another great one that I love, which is a trend, it's a crowdsourcing trend site. It's called Springwise. Springwise.com. It's on the very cutting edge of everything from medical devices to technology, services, hospitality, restaurants, food, you name it, it's on there. Really amazing, great place to get ideas.
And it's spelled Springwise, SPRINGWISE.com?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Awesome. When we talk about being in business, you know, as business owners, especially like Steve and Julie and I, we've been in business for a long time. On a day-to-day basis, to thrive, we need to keep ourselves inspired, you know, and we need a lot of inspiration. So we do need some of those, you know, skill sets, of special qualities and skill sets to keep on going. And I know, Julie, you have, you know, you recently discovered this inspirational video on TED.com.
I did, yes.
So tell us about it.
Okay, I'd love to, because it's my favorite new topic. I recently watched a TED.com video about what makes people really successful, and it is grit. And grit is defined, it's defined as passion and perseverance over very long-term goals.
Wow.
So if you think about a business, that's what a business needs. It needs passion and perseverance over a very long time. If you go into business for a year and you think you're going to be making $1 million your first year, probably not going to happen. Yeah. And if you don't reach your goal and you're disappointed, then you'll be out of business after a year. But if you look at the total and you're very passionate about what you do and you just never give up, then you've got grit. And grit is not giving up because things get difficult. Grit is having stamina over more than weeks or months. It's over years, over decades. And grit has nothing to do with talent or looks or physical health, opportunity, or IQ. Because what grit is all about the growth mindset and that learning can change over time. My guess is that lifetime learners will have the highest level of grit. And again, another inspirational TED.com is by Simon Sinek. And he is always doing great talks about not grit, but about leadership. And it's kind of these two ideas, when we really think about it, that's what makes, I believe, an amazing business owner, a great entrepreneur. Also, you know, sometimes I'll say things like, well, I'm just too stupid that I won't quit. You know, I haven't clued in yet, so I'm too stupid to quit. But that talks to the tenacity and the stick-to-itiveness that grit is all about. And Steve, I'm sure you probably have a lot of grittiness in your life, right?
Julie, I'm so gritty, my middle name is Sandpaper. You know, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you. You know, I too have watched the Simon Sinek TED Talk many, many times. And for anybody who's serious about, you know, just educating themselves, enriching themselves, TED.com is an invaluable website. One of our children, our oldest, actually, one of her business classes, they watch TED Talks as part of the curriculum. So, you know, this is unbelievable what's happened with TED.com. Simon Sinek is a great resource. I'll give you another TED Talk that we really enjoy. I've watched many, many times. It's with an educator. Her name is Rita Pearson. Sadly, Rita has passed on, but she was in the inner city, had really some of the most challenging children in the school, and she found a way to wrap her arms around these children and to convince them that they were in this class not because they were the most difficult kids, but because they were the best kids. And as a business owner, as a parent, as a partner in a relationship, if you watch Rita Pearson and you watch it over and over again, the takeaways are invaluable. They're life-changing. And this woman was just, when you watch her, your heart goes out, and you can think, if every person were as genuine as Rita Pearson, this world would be an unbelievable place. So yeah, we think that the TED Talks are a great value and a great way to enrich your life and your business life.
Well, we've got great information today. I mean, really great information. And I love to talk about this a lot more. But hey, you know, folks, that's the reason why we do this show, so that you can follow us on our website. So I'm going to really quickly share my screen where you can actually get information about our shows, you know, follow us. So you can actually go to our website, entrepreneurs@soar.com, and you can click on Watch Hangouts, and you can actually watch our Hangouts on this page. Or you can also go to Creative Chat Cafe community on Google Plus and join our community, and we'll be posting all information here. So Julie, so for a quick before we go, you know, I just wanted to have our audience know how to get in touch with you. Maybe you can share your information. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So for anyone who ever needs interns, they need help for their business, or maybe you have a kid who needs an internship, come to superinterns.com and we can help both sides of the equation. So superinterns.com, just go right there and you'll be able to connect with us.
Super. Steve, you know, maybe you can share with our audience how to get in touch with you.
Thanks. You can find us at gordonpartnership.com, and that's gordonpartnership.com, Gordon. And as well, it's steve@gordonpartnership.com if you'd like to reach out to us. We offer a free initial consultation, a 30-minute phone or video conference consultation for any business owner that is interested in improving their business, to grow their business. And so I just want to say thank you. And Julie, thank you. You both made this a great afternoon, and I really appreciate the time that you both shared.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Woohoo! Thank you, everybody. So before we leave, let's raise our mugs, and looking forward to the next Creative Chat Cafe Hangouts show. Until then, have a creative and productive day, everybody. Bye-bye. See you all.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye for now.